What's up, everybody? Today, I'm going to hop on the Tether bandwagon and I'm going to talk about all this drama that's going on with it. So if I know a lot of you guys already know, so I'm going to make this really brief explanation. Tether is basically an altcoin that tracks the US dollar. So it fluctuates, hardly at all over the past, I don't know, year or so. Look, I mean, like the green line here is the price. So it fluctuates very between, I guess the low is at 0.91 and the high is probably right here, which is like 1.05. So it's very close to the dollar. It's been pretty accurate. And what they claim is they back each coin by having one US dollar in their reserves. And that's what keeps the price at this stable level. And basically what Tether is and what the use for it is in a market like today when we dropped below 500 billion, instead of trading BTC pairs or ETH pairs, like say you wanted to buy Cardano with BTC or you wanted to sell Cardano. That's a better example. You wanted to sell Cardano, but you didn't want to sell it into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is crashing. So what you could do is you could sell Cardano into USDT where the price is generally pretty stable. And Tether has a ton of different pairs and it's wild. So they have 400 different pairs. So in my opinion, there is a use for a currency like this on the crypto markets. Whether or not it needs to be backed by a dollar is a different conversation that we can have another time. But, more or less, I feel that there is a need for something like this. But the problem that they're running into here is, we'll go to their website. It says they're 100% backed by one-to-one traditional currency to their each coin that they produce. And then they say that they're very transparent. Their reserve holdings are published daily and subject to frequent professional audits. So they've only had one half audit, and then they just broke ties with their most recent auditor. And, that's a little shady, right? That looks a little bit, it looks a little shady. So this company is said to be owned or ran by Bitfinex. So U.S. regulators subpoenaed crypto exchange Bitfinex Tether. And more or less, I mean, you can read this. This is from Bloomberg. This actually was published today, which is kind of strange to me, January 30th. So as far as I know, I heard about this previously, and I'm pretty sure they actually got subpoenaed in mid-December. And since that time, if you look at the chart, and this is what's really been freaking people out is the past few days, is their market cap was sitting at 1.6 billion and then it jumped to 2.25 billion. So everyone's like, there's just no way they have that much cash in their reserves. Like $2 billion is a lot of cash. And people, like the skeptics get really worried about this stuff, right? And I mean, rightfully so. You mean, until they prove it, I guess you can call them guilty or whatever you call them a scam. But, my thing is they actually got subpoenaed somewhere in this range in December 15th area, I believe. So you guys can fact check me on that. I'm not 100% sure on the actual date, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in this range. And then the fact that they're still issuing more Tether after they got subpoenaed, to me is a good sign. And I'm not the only one who thinks like that. Charlie Lee, and I searched for a couple of his posts and it kind of confirmed what I said. So he says, number one, with respect to the Tether situation, it's expected for the CFTC to subpoena Bitfinex to investigate if there are any wrongdoings. The fact that the subpoena is in December 2017 and they still have continued issuing USDT, which is their Tether token, is good news. And so he says USDT is just like any other altcoin. And then he goes on to say, if it turns out that USDT is not backed by real USD, the price will crash to zero. This is similar to what happened with BitConnect, BCC. It should not affect Bitcoin or any other altcoins. The reason why it does is because people are afraid of it affecting and they sell. Then he says they become a self-fulfilling prophecy. People are afraid of price crashing. They sell their coins and they cause the price to actually crash. So he says, in my opinion, just hold And he's not referring to holding on to Tether. He's referring to holding on to your other altcoins. And he basically says this is a great reason to start buying the dip. But then he says, don't ask me to buy Litecoin because he's not trading Litecoin anymore. He says there's problems with him trading Litecoin, which is funny because he came out a while ago saying that he sold all of his Litecoin because he thought that there was, he didn't want to have any problems because he's working on the company himself. So anyway, thought that was funny. But I agree with him. I tend to agree. If Tether is legit, then great. They're legit, and the CFTC will find out and they will audit them and they will say, do you have this much dollars in your bank account? And if you do, then you're backed by dollars. That's great. And if you don't, then your coin will crash. You guys are going to be in a whole heat of trouble, and the markets will be fine, in my opinion. I don't think all this FUD is going around the market right now. And especially today with this news, things have just dumped for no real good reason. And yeah, maybe we needed another correction before we start going on another bull run. But this is like a market-wide correction when there's a lot of coins in here who have real viable products that I don't see a reason why they would drop 20% in a day for no good reason other than all of this fear, uncertainty, and doubt surrounding the biggest news that came out today, which was Tether and how they got subpoenaed. But it didn't even happen today. It happened like a month ago, and somehow it just caught up to everybody today. So I look at this just like Charlie Lee does, as a buying opportunity, or at the very least, just holding, right? This is ugly. I personally don't want to sell at any of these deflated prices. So, I'll be looking to purchase some of these coins, and I'll get into that in a second. So one of the ones I'm looking at is Cardano. We haven't seen this price down to 50 cents in a while. Well over a month. Let me see, 3 months maybe? Yeah, like 3 months ago, 2 months ago. So right around December time is when we've seen this last, like the beginning of December. So I'm looking at Cardano. I really love the project. I really like, Hoskinson. He's just a stand-up dude, and their team is just crushing it, right? And they're just really smart guys. And what they're trying to do is pretty impressive. And the fact that they have a 13 billion market cap right now is already really crazy. They kind of came out of nowhere. But, NEO, a lot of people have been buying NEO recently. Litecoin at this price is really good. I like Stellar a lot, especially at under 50 cents. Geez. Let's see. One of the coins I just picked up was Dash. So that's probably one of my favorites. Dash and Cardano are my two favorites at this point. And I just think looking in VeChain as well. I just did a video on VeChain. So, guys, this is, this is like, you can't look at this as a bad thing. The whole Tether thing, sure, if Tether goes to nothing and it tanks the market a little bit, then okay, great. Then we weed out the bad people in the market, and they maybe scammed a lot of people, but you're not losing unless you sell. And a lot of these companies out here, a lot of these coins are they're not tied to Tether. If Tether tanks the market, it's just panic selling. And so if you believe in the underlying project that you're investing in, and you've gone over my previous videos that say these are the reasons why a coin should appreciate in value over time, and I go over that in detail. If Tether crashes, that doesn't affect whether another coin can go up in value or not. So I'm fine with it. And I guess the last thing on Tether I'll get into is just, even if it's not tied to a dollar, if a new company comes out and does the same thing, they want it to track the dollar, but they don't have to account for it 1-to-1, 100% backed here. Maybe that'll be the next Tether, because I think having something stable is really important. Now, I don't know exactly how you would achieve that without backing it 100%, but if the market believes that it's worth $1, then the market believes it's worth $1. So, who knows? I'm rooting, like, I hope Tether's legit. I hope that they have the 200 billion in their bank account, and then, all this FUD goes away and everybody freaks out and they all lost their money. And then guess what? I picked up all their coins. So that's what I'm rooting for. And even if it does go under, then maybe we'll see a little bit more of a panic sell over the next few weeks. And then, I still picked up all their coins. So I don't really care. With that, let me know your guys' thoughts on Tether. If you guys think it's a big old scam or what. And, I'd like to hear it. If you guys want to hear more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and I'll catch you guys in the next one.